Welcome back to Project Hospital. My name is Tobal. So the first episode, of course, we created our lovely, sad-looking block of happiness, but we are getting there, and we're going to start putting some trimmings here and there as we go to try to make things a little bit nicer and whatnot. Last episode, we made our emergency clinic, as well as the first step towards our diagnostic area. So we've got some of our radiology department nice and set up. There's Jordan, and there's, who's this? Dana Foster. And so yeah, they'll actually go and take a break every so often. So they'll go eat, they'll use the restroom, things like that. They do prefer to even eat sitting down too. So if you make a rest or break room, you will want to allow them to sit down to eat, if that's what their preference is. Let's take a look here. What does he do? What's he grumpy about? Ugly environment. Rested. What do you mean ugly environment? It's beautiful outside. Why don't we put a couple windows in here? Maybe he's grumpy because he can't see outside. I'd be grumpy about that too. All right, there we go. There's your freaking windows. Are you happy now? All right, so we didn't put down the MRI or the CT, but I don't think right now it's quite necessary. I think I'll wait until we get somebody who has something that we can't quite figure out. But what I believe we will do is get ahead of the game and put down our first one of our micro, or our laboratories rather, not micro per se, but just one of our general laboratories. So we will put that down over here. Now what I like to do is leave this section here for the what do you call it, the ICU, because it's right above the emergency area. And I might even put in another elevator because I like them being relatively close, but honestly it's not the worst thing in the world. So what I might do down the road here is just leave these elevators as is, and we'll have the ICU intensive care in this general vicinity, so that way people are, they're stabilized. We'll wheel them up to ICU, and they're going to be taken care of in that department over here. And when we have the people from ICU over here, we will have all of our diagnostic stuff in the same general floor. So in the end of the day, we can always move things around. We can always kill a department, move a building, destroy a room, and relocate it somewhere else if we find out that we need to have more space. Okay, so let's make a hematology lab. I didn't save one, unfortunately, but we're going to try to make a lab that has probably enough stuff here for, I would say, 3 nurses, if I've got enough room for it. So this is 14 by 6, and there's the same space up here. So we'll make a hematology lab. I'm probably going to get the same style of design, and all we have to do is change the items on the trays themselves. And I think I'm going to do it down here first because of the elevator being in the way. So let me actually go back into here, and I'll just do, say, instead of hematology, we'll do the microbiology down here. All right. So let's muck about. Let's click on the thing. So we need all of these items in here. So that actually is going to be quite a bit. What kind of space are we talking about? I feel like if I was a random doctor dude, I would probably want to have a pretty condensed area, right? So we could say, how do we want to have this doing? First, they're going to go into the room here. The glass? We want to have this one right here. We'll do something like this. And I'm going to mark, what color do we have? We'll do hard green here. We've got light green, so to speak, up where the radiology is. We'll do the darker green for the lab. All right, so let's put down a few things. Let's move this actually down a little bit. I'm trying to just figure out what good spacing or what I'm going to be using here. So we have some kind of cabinet, which I think we can put a computer on. You're facing the right way. We'll do that there. We'll put a half desk lab and a lab cabinet again and a lab cabinet again. So we can put things like the computer on here, which they're going to use, I believe, for pretty much everything they're doing. This would bother me if I was having to smash my knees against something. There we go. And the reason I try to put the computer close is the staff member will always try to get on the computer first. And I've watched them do this through the lab themselves, so through the laboratory department. They'll get on the computer, go do a test, and then get back on the computer. So I want to have them try to use this area before they go anywhere else. So we'll say that we'll put a little microscope here. It looks like they also require a fume hood, which needs to be against a wall. They also need some kind of a kitchen sink, which somehow we can manage to put right on this area. We'll put some random glassware here. Microbiological Incubator, lovely. We'll put that right next to the fume hood. Maybe we'll move them all over, put down a biohazard trash bin. Paper holder, obviously very, very important. A printer, of course, is very important as well. I think that's pretty much it. Sample storage and will be tucked in against the back. Computers there with the office chair is all we need. All right, cool. I guess I'll throw down some random, I don't know, a glassware barrette. Is that how you pronounce that? Who knows? Glassware. And there we go. We've got a nice little laboratory. And this is good enough for one laboratory technician. And now I can create the prefab again. And basically, I think, do I have enough room to do this a couple times over? This would be 1. It's 4 wide. Okay, so I'm actually need to move everything back a notch. I think I would be able to fit everything in. I'd be able to fit 3 desks like this. So 3 places where people could work. And let's go ahead and just kill that door. If I can figure out where the door goes. One day I shall learn my lesson. Okay, there we go. So we've shuffled everything down. So every technician is going to have their own nice private lab space. That way, in theory, they should stay really close to the computer. Because what they do is they test something, go to the computer. Test something, go to the computer. So in theory, each of these folks has a nice little area for them to work in. Did I have any walls in the middle? Nope. Yeah, so each of them has their own little compartment. And even in the room, I'll just put a couple extra things. Like we'll put some scrubs in here for no particular reason. Just because I like to have all these different designs and things in the room. Mobile equipment cabinet sounds great. I have no idea why we need that. And maybe a bookshelf to round everything out. Lovely. A little cramped for space, but as long as they've got a spot to walk, they're going to be fine. So there we go. There is... How much did that cost? That probably actually did cost quite a bit. The microbiological was $1,200. Microscope was quite expensive. So when you're building this first, when you're first building your initial labs, you probably don't need all 3 or 4 or however many desks you're trying to make. Now, again, you don't have to follow this same design. There, if you look at the pre-made, the prefab lab, let's take a look. They had a pretty cool design. Let me try to spin it around here. They have a, it looks like a couple computers there on the left, and then there's some on the right as well. And then most of the testing things are inside of what you would assume to be probably like a climate-controlled cold room. But it's not the most efficient in terms of how fast your person moves between doing all the testing. So I try to watch what the staff members do during their examinations and make it the most efficient as possible. As long as you got all the required items, they're going to be relatively happy. All right, I'm going to do this on my own, the next building, and I'll just show you my, or not the next department here, or the next room for hematology, and I'll come right back. Okay, so the Hematology Lab had a couple of different items. So they required a RIA, which I don't even know what this is. Oh, goodness. Radioimmunoassay, sure. Mandatory lab equipment. Hematology analyzer, and I also think it needed the thermal cycler. So I added a couple of different things, but it's the same layout, roughly, as the other room. But this time I'm only going to build one of the kind of, I don't know, nooks here for the lab technician. So I'll do the same thing for the final lab. And you can tell now if I go back into the management mode that these are ready to go because they're colored in. We just simply need to hire someone to work it. So I'm going to add in the histology lab here. And I think in the back corner I'll put down a bathroom and a break room. So we'll have the histology lab, and then I'll just grab a prefab. Again, in the laboratory section, we'll do a bathroom here, and we'll do a break room. And if there's any room left, we'll put in... Oh, so here's an interesting one. We kind of ran out of space. So what I normally do in this case, when I've got a weird, you know, like a little bit of extra space, I'll do a prefab, but then I'll just take out the wall, and I'll move everything myself back a notch. And I'll just give them a little bit more space. So it's kind of the same general layout. Everything's just a little bit more spaced. You can do the same thing sometimes with different patient rooms as well. If you're making a ward where people would stay overnight in order to be observed or something, you can always add a little bit of extra width to the room or something like that. But there we go. Oops. I don't want the room to be outside. So now I have to kill the room and make the whole room again like this. There we go. And I probably don't want the door. Crap. I put the whole thing reversed, didn't I? That's fine. It's fine. Losing my mind today. There we go. We'll just throw a door in here. And there we go. We're all set with the break room. That means that our medical laboratories are all set, with the exception of the histology, which I'll do right now. Okay, the histology, or sorry, it's the, which one was this one? This is, yeah, the histology lab is all set, and that is going to do it for all 3 of our laboratories. So I can hire someone, a technologist, the, what would you call this person? Yeah, technologist, I guess. Okay, fair enough. So we'll hire the technologist. I don't know, the extra stuff is not necessarily useful. Capable of operating examination devices related to neurology. There are some specific scanning machines that are in these specialist departments, which we don't really need from our generalists here. All I need to do is just get some basic biochemistry. So let me reset our candidates. I want to look for new candidates. Okay, so we still have quite a few mixed up. Let's go ahead and unlock the perks. You were an early bird. with the pleasant trait, and you're actually not too expensive, and you have great biochemistry skill. So you are on the board, Michael Barkley, or Berkeley? Barkley, fair enough. We're only going to hire one person for the microbiology. By the way, if you wonder what the room is, especially if you load up one of the custom maps, at the start of the game, you can choose a new game, and you can start up in a map that's already been made. You can go into this mode and hover over a room, and it'll tell you at the bottom down here what the room is. That really helps you get a feel for how to lay out your hospital. And that's actually how I got into the game, was just to look at the existing rooms that were available and kind of steal some ideas. Thomas, what a great name. Dirty Feet, People Person. That's fine. We'll have some janitors to help clean that up. Finally, we'll grab one more staff member for the Histology Lab. You are resistant, and you've got a pretty average skill in biochemistry, which should be just fine. Oh, you know, the only thing I'm missing right now is our lovely Janitor Closet. So I guess I'll put it right here in the middle. We kind of ran out of space, but we'll put the Janitor Closet for the lab section. Where did I put that at? Cleaning closet. Here we go. Excellent. Hire a couple folks for that. We'll hire the janitor from Scrubs, and he'll just harass some poor intern all the time. There we go. Do we need a waiting? Yeah, we still need a waiting room. So I think I'll just do it on one side of the hall, because we don't really need to worry. Oh, you know what? Maybe not. Let's make a waiting room for every separate area. We actually just got a grant there too, because we opened a specialized room. So let me go into waiting room and waiting room. I kind of like having separate waiting rooms for each of the, if it's a different department or not. Not department per se, but a different specialty inside the department. Does that make any sense? I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. Most of the lab technicians have to come outside anyways in order to get the sample that they're working with. So if they are receiving a stool sample, they will get up, come to the door, and then talk to the person who's providing the stool sample. Lovely, is it not? Okay, there we go. Info TVs, we'll put those up. Couple spots here and there. And one more right here. Excellent. So, we've taken care of the laboratory stuff pretty early on. We don't really need to do much else from here. I'll put down a vending machine. I haven't put down a couple of these. Let's do more vending machines and whatnot, because they're going to probably want water. I mean, you can't place it here. Oh, it's under the sign. Apparently, you can't place something under the ding sign. Fair enough. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Let me do a little bit of sprucing up in the hallway, and I'll be right back. All right, there we go. A little bit nicer. We got a little bit of tiles on the floor, and everything is all set to go. The reason I do some of the flooring like this is that at a glance, as I'm kind of going up the different floors, I can immediately kind of get a feel for what I've got in certain areas. So I know right away that I'm going to be using green for labs, light green, if you will, or seafoam, whatever the heck this is, for my radiology, and things like that. So I kind of develop a color pattern early, and just try to reinforce it throughout the game. Right. Well, we've got our medical laboratories online. Let's talk about this insurance thing that keeps popping up. This is under the umbrella. So, the game will, by default, I believe, and I'm not 100% on this, but the game by default sends you a certain amount of people that walk in. They're going to be sent from different insurance companies. Like, the insurance company will say, hey, go to Anonymous Hospital to get your care today. And so they'll send you a certain amount of people. So, for example, we're getting 10 sends per day from Cheapo Care. And as you complete objectives and then bonus objectives, that send amount might start going up. So we also unlocked uninsured because we were able to treat 3 patients, I think. So now we can sort of say, yes, we're going to enable the receiving of these patients. And you'll see the objectives up here on the side. So they want us to treat 10 patients per day, and we'll get a $30,000 government grant. They want us to open a clinic at any specialized department, and then we'll get the hospitalization stuff unlocked. Hospitalization is what we talked about before. You've got the extra stuff, like the observation room, the trauma center, which is kind of the right side of the screen. This is the hospitalization stuff. So we won't get into that even once it unlocks for quite a while. I just want to make sure we've got the basics first. You know what? Let's also make a little fancy thing, because you know what? Does it matter? No, not whatsoever. However, it matters in your soul, right? You gotta have something nice and pretty. Let's do a bit of a... Oh, how do I want to do this? Let's make it some grassy areas. Up here. Beautiful. And we'll protect everything with the outdoor Glass fencing. Jawohl, very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, I'm not the best interior designer, but you know what? It makes me happy inside, so there we go. We're gonna put this here. Does it matter? I don't think so. I don't think anyone even uses it as a break room, but it looks cute to me. Actually looks a little bit funky, but I don't care. We'll put a little bit of a sliding door here, or the glass doors. People can go outside, walk around, sit on benches, jump off the roof. I don't care. Whatever they want to do, they're going to have the ability to do it. You know why? Because Tobal doesn't mess around when it comes to his staff members' happiness. That's right. I care. I care here at Anonymous Hospital. Look at these flowers on the grassy knoll. Gorgeous. All right, we'll leave that alone for the moment. So what's next for us? We've got a couple of folks coming in. We've got, let's see, who's getting examined right now? Just one person. Not exactly too busy. It will pick up pace. You will start to get more and more people coming in. Things will start to get and feel really chaotic as you start getting more insurance companies sending you folks. Now, I'm doing much better than I normally do in terms of my loan. I'm only losing about $1,600 every day in my interest, so hopefully we'll try to keep that cost low. This person has... We're just really not sure, huh? Why can't we x-ray the lower limb? What happened? Oh, you know what? I moved a piece of equipment in here, and I lost my staff member. This is a good example of how you reassign someone. I moved a piece of equipment out, and so that basically unassigned them. So if you want to hire someone or assign someone to a room, and you already have hired them, click on the little dots to the side, and the person with the plus symbol means they need to be assigned to somewhere. So Dana Forrestal will be put back on the room, and then they'll go ahead and be able to x-ray that person. That's why it was not letting me do that. Okay, fair enough. Right, so from here on out, I believe we're going to start going up a little bit more. So let's go ahead and add on another floor to our lovely hospital. Add a floor, copy walls. Nice. I'm not going to keep everything the same way, but this is probably going to be one of my first specialty departments. So from, I would skip ICU. We're going to skip ICU because it's not really a specialty. And I want to start out with something relatively easy. And I think internal medicine and both ortho are going to be a little bit easier. Our ortho deals with generally broken bones and generally the bones, the skeleton of the body. And internal medicine is something like ENT, ear, nose, and throat, I think. And I apologize if you are a medical professional and I get this wrong. I am running on very limited knowledge, but from what I've gained from the game here. So what we can do is make some dedicated areas. Now, I'm picturing everything. Again, remember how I said before, I'm kind of keeping this with a vision to the future, right? We're trying to look ahead and plan for a rather large hospital. So if I look at these departments, let me clear out some of these random walls here. You can see that we start out with a basic doctor's office. So just a doctor's office. And if we go to the management screen of internal medicine to open the clinic, we simply need an office, a waiting room, pretty much the same stuff that we needed downstairs in our emergency clinic. We need some basic stuff. However, down the road, each of these specialty departments is going to have its own operating room, its own special analysis stuff. So like a cardiography unit, diagnostic unit. High dependency is where where patients are, I guess you would say more emergent patients will be going to stay and have a closer eye on them. We'll also have just regular ward. Like if you go to the hospital and you have an overnight, you'll just get put into a regular ward room. And so we'll give people their own private room. So I want to make sure we have enough space to expand. So in order to do that, I'm going to probably dedicate every floor to one specialty department for the moment. And I do have a mod on, I think, it may or may not be working, that will let me go above, I think the default is maybe 5 floors, 4 or 5 floors in the hospital. So I'm going to try to make every floor its own specialty department. And if not, I've got plenty of space back here to add on another building and continue developing with another department from there. So without further ado, let's make our internal office, internal medicine actually. We'll start out with an internal medicine office right here on the corner. And I'm going to have to take a loan real quick because we're going to wind up dipping into this just a bit because of all the costs here. We're just going to start out with one. And I will give everyone a restroom and whatnot. We'll put down ahead of time like a staff room here. This time I won't have the door facing outside, shall we? And a cleaning closet. Now, the each of the specialty departments are going to need their own reception area. So what I'll do is kill the wall here. Oops, wrong button. I'm going to make a little tiny reception area. So if I go into the management view, again, I'm on internal medicine. I can designate this area to be reception. Oh, we'll just stretch it across the entire hallway here. And we'll just put down something like a basic reception desk. Nothing too fancy. We might get busy enough later on to warrant having 2 nurses taking care of reception here, but probably we're only ever going to need 1. We'll go ahead and grab 2 computers for the moment. Maybe one of the staff members wants to stop, take a break, and play some Tower or something. I don't know what year we're talking about here, but works for me. Right, so printer. Actually, this is pretty slow, so let me finish this up. I'll be right back. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I've got a little reception area here, some benches lying around. I have a bathroom, the staff room, and stuff like that. Now, the extra stuff is not going to be unlocked for a little bit. I think we have to hit a certain requirement. How does it get unlocked? I think it's going to come up in one of the insurance items. Open a clinic at any specialized department. I bet when we do this, we might get a secret reward. So let's actually just hire someone, and that should fire off. Because we've got our little specialty office here. We'll hire a internal medicine doctor. Probably just hire... Well, you know what? Again, we're going to need a chief of internal medicine. So we probably want this person to be rather skilled. A fellow wouldn't be bad. You're actually skilled in anesthesiology as well. You have resistance and diagnostic genius. That's not too bad. What else do you have? You are a germaphobe and you are a hedonist. That's not too bad. I kind of want someone with a good boss trait. Here we go. Here's an attending. They're not really that great, though, with the skill. Let's go ahead and get a new group here. I like how there is a resident who's a good boss. Let's give them the clean feet and resistance here. Okay, Michael King, the attending. We'll go ahead and grab this. Oh, your skill is so very low. If I'm going to have one person in the department, I kind of want to have them have really good skills. Resistant, comforting, hard worker. Perfect. 66% skill in internal medicine. Patricia, you are now the chief of internal medicine. You are literally a department of 1. So, our reward is hospitalization at emergency if we open clinic at any specialized department. So that was one of the insurance things, right? We can actually now send, or have people get sent, to get treated at our specialized department, which is pretty cool. So, once we treat one person, we will unlock hospitalization. Also, do we now have access? No, we still don't have access to the higher level rooms yet, so that's fine. Let me go ahead and dress up the floor, and I'll be right back. I had a bit of a color coordination issue, so I had to change some colors downstairs. So our laboratory will now be known as the beige room, and we'll keep the color for green in our internal medicine. So that unlocked that particular specialization department, or specialized department. Let's also hire, kind of messed that up. We need a receptionist for this area too. Wouldn't mind having someone relatively friendly. People person makes everyone a little bit happier, I think. And we'll grab, just 1 or 2 janitors here. Keep the upper floor clean. Uno mas. All right. So, yeah, that's that. We've got our internal... I know it looks super empty and it's super depressing. I get that totally. But we are going to be building into the rest of this area. We're going to be building a massive surgery unit. We're going to be building some areas where people are going to be sleeping overnight. Lots of break rooms. So we will be building out on these different floors. But for the moment, things are rather bare. So we're getting more sends, and kind of the early part of the game is going to just be you're getting your reputation up, you're starting to get more people get sent to your hospital every day. If you want to kind of see how things are going, you can click on this statistics window, which gives you pretty much just a rundown of all the different departments as you click through them, which can be a little bit confusing. But the things that you probably want to focus on are the workloads. This will tell you what the workload of all these different rooms are. So if you have a critical room workload, what you can do is go into the management view and it'll tell you what the workload is during the day. So if it's critical, I'm pretty sure critical means that somebody wasn't able to be tended to. And normally what I'll do is once I start getting high in different rooms, I will add more rooms and more doctors. But I normally don't like to go too far over because then you're paying people, paying more salaries than you really need to worry about. You can also check the budget to keep an eye on what you're spending every day. Now, it's a little bit harder to see because we just spent freaking $366,000 today. Nice and casual spending, no big deal. Was it all in one day? We're still on day 1. That's awesome. We haven't even finished day 1 yet. We've blown through $366,000. I'm sure there's a smidge more when you're building a real hospital. I do want to hire another nurse so that we can have somebody covered for... each of them can be covered when they have to use the restroom. So we'll do a new group and this. people person and you are a loyal person. Sounds good to me. You're a horrible receptionist, but that's okay. You can learn. There we go. Our first main objective for the insurance stuff is completed. That was the uninsured. We've treated 10 patients per day. We've got a $30,000 grant, and if we treat 15, we'll get an increase in the amount of people we're getting every day. So really, right now, we're going to be getting 30 people every day, is what it's telling us. So patient intake from insurance companies, we've treated 10 patients right now because we only started out with 10. So we'll get to the end of the day. Once you hit, I think, 1,900 hours or so, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening, you will be able to fast forward through the night. So if you're wondering how to skip a boring evening where your hospital is basically closed, except for the janitors, you can click on the little stopwatch icon. Okay, so it is now the end of the first day, rather. We have 8 idle rooms. I don't know if that means that you've had 8 rooms that have never been touched all day or not. We can't open the statistics. Let's see. Workload in the day. One of our rooms had nothing going on. And on-call, anything like this. So staff satisfaction, needs reduced, things like that. That's all happy. Are we looking at the day shift? I think we are. Proper lunch, had coffee, needs reduced. So they're all a little bit happy. We treated 12 people today. The average time to see a doctor was 6 seconds. So that's pretty much instantaneous. Now, here's the thing that I don't quite understand. Patient satisfaction always seems to be super low. I don't know if that's just a bug or what, but I generally see patient satisfaction really low. Although, by and large, we've treated most everyone and they're all relatively happy. Budget-wise, let's see, what does this give us? Department's patient tables. We have no one in the department right now. Everyone's gone home for the night. If you're wondering why that's empty, I don't think you can see your historical stuff. If you're trying to curious as to how can I see the people I treated today, I don't really know if you can. Let's see, let's look at all patients. Nope. So this will tell you who's being hospitalized overnight. These are the people in the clinic. Bookmarked patients, like anyone that's favored. Untreated patients is a good way to see why or what was going on where someone was missed. Basically, someone had to walk away from your hospital because of something, and you'll get a list of all the people who were turned away, whether you didn't have the right diagnostic room or what. So yeah, let's go ahead and not worry about the budget today because the budget is completely broken because we built everything. I think, though, what I'm going to do is try to make sure that every department is profitable and then keep adding more of the basic specialty departments. So we'll add in ortho. I'm a little worried about cardio because at some point you're going to start getting people who have severe heart pains, like they're literally about to have a heart attack. And I don't want to bring that on the hospital yet because we don't have good surgeons. Lisa got drunk. Good job, Lisa. I'm sure it's really great that you're going to be drunk and using radiological equipment. All right, big day today. We're expecting 30 patients, so here's hoping. Is it 20? Why does it say 24? I thought it would tell us that we have more than that. I am sad. Oh, some people actually went directly upstairs, I think. Let me go up real fast, see if I can catch them. They might be coming out of the elevator. I think someone went right to ortho. Or right to internal medicine. Oh, that was a janitor. Okay, well, never mind. I lied, a horrible lie. They tend to pay more money, by the way. When you have someone get seen by a specialist, you will notice that you get more income when they are seen by the specialist. Right. We got a couple more people. We are expecting more folks to show up today. So why don't we get a couple of new doctors in? You are a gamer who is unpleasant. We don't want to do that. Night owl, long commute. I don't think I like any of these people. Let's go ahead and switch it up a bit. You're a good boss. You're a good boss. That's an intern. Awesome. Let's go ahead and grab an intern. Why not? A loyal intern. I'm sure that can't hurt us at all. And I think I'm also going to drop down one more doctor's office here. By and large, I pretty much use this same layout all the time. Like the 4x6 for the doctor's offices. They don't need much more space as far as I found yet. So I'm fairly happy with what they've got. Uses free time to study and you're a good boss. Okay, we'll grab another resident. Ooh, or a cheap attending. Comforting, loyal, and practical diagnosis. Sounds good. You're our next choice. I'm very wishy-washy. Add in a couple more benches and we shall be good to go. And as soon as they sit down, they'll be able to start treating patients. So if you have a major crowd, you can, in fact, put down a building, hire a doctor, and they'll immediately warp someone inside. So you just got treated for laryngitis. You're treated for insomnia. Aw, I'm sorry you're depressed. People will have different, I guess, levels of danger of what their symptoms are. So you might see someone come in here, like right here. Breathing problems is a medium, where it says medium there. It's like kind of a danger thing. Like how dangerous is this particular symptom? Someone might come in here with a, you'll see them actually hunched over. If they're hunched over, generally they have a critical injury, which is like they're bleeding, they have a major gash or something like that. So you'll want to make sure that you keep an eye on that person if things are relatively calm, and make sure they get seen by the appropriate department. Hey, speaking of that, do we have anyone up at ortho yet? Oh, I really want someone to go to ortho. Oh, hey, I don't have any chairs down. We should probably do that. They might just be standing around waiting for me to put down a chair. There we go. We've got a waiting room, a proper waiting room. I loved abusing the hallway thing, by the way. I hate, I used to make separate waiting rooms, but it wound up just taking up so much space to make a separate area for a waiting room. So I just like the idea. It looks a little funky, but I'm gotten so used to it at this point that I'm okay with it. People just kind of waiting in the hallway. And generally, I'm able to see people so quickly that we don't have much of a wait time problem. Okay, so here's a fun one. This is somebody who was referred. So they actually have this little symbol meaning they were referred for a specialized department. So they're actually going directly to internal medicine. So this is someone who skipped the first reception area. They're going to go upstairs. They've already talked to our receptionist, and they'll go talk to this doctor. What the heck is this? Toxoplasmosis? Oh, it's spread by a cat? Undercooked food and exposure to cat's feces. Oh, lovely. Well, I'm never freaking cleaning my cat's poop again. So if you'll notice, the amount of money they're paying us is a little bit more than what the people downstairs were paying us for, because it's a little bit more of a specialized treatment. Hey, where are you going? You have... What's going on? Oh, you're getting tested. You're getting serologic testing. The yellowish pulsating thing is what's actually getting tested. So now we can actually watch one of the doctors do their thing. See, they stand up, go to the computer. Stand up, do their thing, go to the computer. That's why it's important to have, I think, the computer farther deeper in this little bay, so they don't go... I've watched them before walk around the entire table doing something else. But this is pretty efficient. They stand up, do their thing. It's not really exactly the most efficient way to do their job, but hey, you know what? I'm not a technologist or anything. All right, so you've declared her to have, I don't know, something. I don't know why she went to get tested. Oh, we actually did the toxoplasmosis test. So now she's going to go back upstairs. She's going to get her results from the doctor and get treated, which is kind of cool. Payment is still $420. Okay, cool. And then we got anti-parasitic drugs and antipyretics. Lovely. We just treated 15 patients today, so we got 5 more. And let's see, the new objective is treat 1 patient per day. Oh, we actually got hospitalization. Let's take a look at that. Going to this one here. So we just treated 1 patient at a specialized location. Did that mean we get hospitalization everywhere? Survey says yes. And now you'll see that if we look at internal medicine, we now have access to the ward room, the nurse's station, the surgery room, everything. So this is going to be a big step for us once we get there, but I don't think I want to do that quite yet. I might go up a couple more floors, at least add in ortho and maybe neurology. I'm not entirely sure. I'm a little nervous about getting the rooms that would actually bring people who have really severe injuries to us, but we'll take a look. One other thing I could add now with the internal medicine is just a simple, I think it's called the diagnostic unit. Internal medicine provides examination and treatment procedures for hospitalized patients. Oh, it's actually when they're hospitalized, so it's part of the overnight stay thing. All right, for the moment, I think we'll leave it alone. And I guess I will take a look and see how much we're doing with our money today. So we made... I must have built something, maybe a couple chairs and probably that waiting room. So far today, we've made $2,400 from the insurance, the clinic, and only $420 from neurology. But we still made a profit from neurology. Or sorry, from internal medicine. They only took a cost about $200 for the wages. So overall, we're doing okay, other than the building that I did. We'll wait till the end of the day and see what our profit is like. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, if you get a patient and you're really unsure if you're going to be able to treat them, and it might be a kind of a dangerous thing, you can try to transfer them to another hospital. Like, if you just know you don't have the surgery equipment to take care of this guy's missing foot, or you don't want to deal with a certain patient, you can send them to another hospital. I don't know if it counts against you if they die. I think it does if they're on your area. This guy's actually in pretty rough shape. He's got vomiting and muscle and joint pain. I'm kind of curious if... I think it might give you the payment once they get the actual diagnosis. Let's take a watch real quick and see what they do. He's getting the sampling taken. So drawing of blood for the serologic test. So what they do is pretty much draw the blood, give the vial to the patient, and then tell them to go downstairs to the office. Are you gonna puke? I guess not. Oh, you guys are sharing. How cute. Alright, so he's gonna go downstairs with his blood sample and pretty much just give it to the nurse. So there's a wait right now outside of the... Which one is this one? This is the histology. So do we want to add... You know what? There's actually a little bit of a wait. So let me go ahead and do this. We're going to copy over by using our lovely... I love this prefab section here. It makes it so much easier, especially because the game just has so much going on. So we're going to copy... Oops, I copied too much. All we want is this row of things here. Perfect. We'll make one more of these. And we'll hire a new technologist. Biochem, you're comforting, you're just a little bit of a germaphobe, and you might be late for work, but that's okay. Normally, we don't get a lot of requests right off the bat, right out of the gate. So we'll hire you, and you're going to go and help take care of some of the load of patients we have. Really, if people have to wait for a little bit, it's not the worst thing in the world. You do want to be careful about overstaffing, and you wind up paying a crap ton of money in staff fees. But we'll wait for the end of Mr. Fraser's entire experience, and I think we're going to wrap the episode up. They're going to take his blood. It'd be kind of cool if someone went crazy and like started attacking a nurse. No, that's fine. Yeah, so the clinic is closed. There were still 2 patients waiting. Oh, we didn't get them in time. And so they're actually going to have to go home, which kind of sucks. But that wasn't really our fault. They came really late in the day. So I don't know if that's anything else we could have done there. That might have just been the game mechanics giving us someone really late in the day. All right. Thanks for joining me, my friends. I'm still, as always, enjoying Project Hospital. I love my management games so much. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again next episode. We'll continue to expand, I think, into other departments, and I might even do that off camera, so it's ready for us to see. And then maybe we're going to get into some of the surgical areas and the hospitalization overnight stuff. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. Until next time, take care.